Hello and welcome to Everybody Pulls the Tarp. I'm your host, Andrew Moses. With me today, a very, very special guest, Jeff Grass, the chairman and CEO of Hungry. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thanks, Andrew. Excited to be here.
So I'm familiar with Hungry, but so the audience, for those in the audience that are not, what does Hungry do?
Sure. So Hungry is really the first ever platform that connects companies, organizations with top local chefs to provide business and event catering. Or at least that's what we were as of 100 days ago before COVID arrived. But
well, we'll get into that whole pivot, which is really fascinating. And you and I have talked about the fact that this show is called Everybody Pulls the Tarp. It's based on a philosophy that I have that great teams are powered by individuals who contribute in unexpected ways. And I first learned about the tarp and pulling tarp at my first internship. I worked in minor league baseball for the AA affiliate of the New York Yankees. And on my first day, they welcomed me to the club. They said, "Tomorrow we need you to bring some old clothes and stick them in a locker." And I said, "Why?" Well, they said, in the minor leagues, we need everybody in the organization to be ready to pull the tarp on and off the field when it rains. And I still didn't understand. And they explained to me that the field's the same size, the dirt's the same, the grass is the same as the big league clubs. But a big league organization might have 25 people on the grounds crew. A minor league club might only have 4 or 5, 6, maybe if they're lucky. So everybody had to chip in. And that lesson has really, stuck with me, Jeff, my entire career. I'm wondering, when you think back on your career, and we'll get into your whole career in a bit, when you think back, though, was there a job or an experience early in your career that really shaped you into the professional and leader you are today?
Well, first of all, I love that story because it really does kind of highlight, the importance of teamwork and everybody, being humble. One of our core values here at Hungry is gratitude, and I think it's about checking your ego at the door and everybody pitching in to make a difference. But in terms of my looking back on my career, I think everybody's shaped by each experience they have through life. My very first job, I was a cook for Kentucky Fried Chicken for 6 months, and it was the most humbling and horrible job in the world. But I think it taught me, the importance of working hard and sticking with it. And 6 months, when I was actually only 14 years old at the time, was a really long time. And so I think experiences like that, I think, help shape you and at least for me, helps you really understand and appreciate the importance of things like everybody pulling the tarp.
So let's fast forward a bit from your days at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Sure.
You're essentially a serial entrepreneur.
I am.
You've worked on some amazing ventures. Did you know at Kentucky Fried Chicken that day that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Did you know at a younger age you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Talk about that for a minute.
No, growing up, the concept of being an entrepreneur wasn't really something that I thought of. It wasn't in vogue, like it is more today. My dad worked for the federal government, his whole career. So we didn't have a family business or something to, think about that. It actually wasn't until, although now that I look back, like I had started a lawn mowing business when I was in high school and I had done entrepreneurial things, I didn't think about the concept of starting a business until actually while at business school. So it was, not until my mid 20s before that really became into focus for me.
So folks looking on at entrepreneurs, many think it's very, very glamorous and it looks like a lot of fun. You get to hang out with cool investors. You get to wear cool T-shirts, but there's got to be more to it than that, right? Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, no, it's I like to tell folks who think about starting their own business is being an entrepreneur is as much a lifestyle choice as it is a career choice because it becomes all consuming. It's the kind of thing that once you're in the middle of starting a business, you're thinking about it 24/7. It's nights and weekends, and it's not glamorous. It's grinding it out. It's figuring things out. It's failing a lot, and really trying to make sure you're learning from things you try and what works and what doesn't, and making adjustments. And and really, kind of, going through that process to leading you to sort of build a business and making sure you're surrounding yourself with great people along the way too.
Do you have a process as a leader for, like failing fast, as you put it, or is it organic each time?
Yeah, no, I'm a big believer in, especially when you're in the early stages of building a business, is you got to try things quickly. There's different sort of models out there and books on things like lean startup and concepts like fail fast. But I'm a big believer in being very customer led. So it's about getting your concept into market as quickly as you can, letting customers help guide you and really trying to deeply understand, what their needs are, both spoken as well as unspoken. And so the more you can really get in tune with, what the customers need, I think the more you can really make sure you're building a solution that has great product market fit. And that's usually when businesses start to take off.
How do you rally your team around you, during those ebbs and flows?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in either mission or purpose, driven companies. This is a kind of a mindset, a philosophy that I didn't start with my first company, but now that with Hungry, my fourth, it's much clearer for me now. You asked sort of what Hungry is, but who we are, I think, is equally, if not more important. And who we are is we're a very purpose-driven company. Our core purpose is to improve the lives of everyone we touch with a focus on 4 key constituents. Who it's our chefs who are our partners on the platform. It's the clients that we serve. It's the communities where we operate. And it's also our team. And so having a very clear purpose and also being very intentional around culture is something that I focus a lot on as a leader here at Hungry. And I think that really helps accelerate our success and really helps make sure we're operating as a team.
So speaking of operating as a team and listening to your customer, the COVID-19 crisis fundamentally changed how you deliver your business.
Yeah.
So talk about what changed for a minute and how you guys went about adapting.
Sure. So, Hungry started kind of early 2017. In a little over 3 years, we'd grown to close to a $20 million run rate business. We were, tripling sales every year. We had rolled out into 7 different markets. And we actually just closed a new funding round this past February that was hugely successful and way oversubscribed. So we felt like we'd figured it out. We were on a great path. The plan was to roll out in 23 markets by the end of next year. And then COVID arrived. And being a platform for office catering and large event catering is not so good in the COVID world. So literally over the course of a few weeks, our business just completely fell off. Sales are down, 98% from normal. And so we really had, kind of a difficult decision to make. It was, do you fold, do you furlough, or do you try to innovate your way through it? And we chose the last option, and it's been absolutely incredible to see how the company has responded, how the team has responded. So much so that we actually just posted our highest sales and profit month ever last month. So it's been, absolutely remarkable.
Amazing. So I want to make sure I understand this. So COVID completely changes the business, and then you have you proceed to innovate and have your best month of sales in the history of the company.
Yeah. So we've launched 4 new businesses in the last 100 days or so. 3 of which that we're big believers in and are really investing aggressively around. And what we have found is that the platform we've created, which pre-COVID is, as I mentioned, a platform that connects organizations to top local chefs. And so we have over 200 amazing chef partners on our platform. We've built a very robust technology platform that has incredible logistics capabilities. And we've really found that our food production, delivery, logistics capabilities are pretty unique and in high demand. And it's led us to develop a lot of sort of services contracts opportunities. We just launched a partnership with the Washington Nationals where we're delivering, game day food to fans to their homes on game day. We're now delivering over 1.5 million meals to seniors and students in cities across the country. We've also launched, 2 other businesses that are really, growing quickly now too.
You talked about this decision you had to make. You either fold up shop or you innovate your way out of it. Did you give serious thought to folding up, or was that really never an option? You quickly moved that aside and said, "Hey guys, how are we going to figure this out?"
Yeah, no, we had a board meeting that, where we talked a lot about, sort of the wisdom at the time was, cut aggressively, cut deep. This is going to take a while, so we have to conserve cash, and we'll rebuild once you come out the other side. And if you look around, that's what many companies who have been significantly affected by COVID have done and have had to do. And so, there was a very lively debate around, do we do that? Is that the smart call? And we said, give us 3 weeks. And we have this idea. It's called Hungry at Home, which is leveraging our chefs to create family style meals that will deliver to people's homes, as opposed to traditional catering. And our tech team, really pulled out all the stops, nights and weekends. 2 weeks, they built a whole new website. We launched Hungry at Home. Our chef network team had worked with our chefs across 7 different cities to develop new menus and things for family style meals that would be delivered chilled, and we launched it, and it got off to a really strong start. And so that then led to a regrouping with the board and talking about, how's it going and what's next. And at that point, we'd had a couple more ideas we wanted to work on. And so it just we kept sort of fighting our way through, like, let's just give us a little more time. And within a few months, things really came together nicely.
What's been fascinating to watch too is how celebrities and personalities have used the Hungry platform to do their giving and their community service during this time. I've seen countless celebrities who've used Hungry to donate to frontline workers or hospitals, cafeterias, however you want to put it. It's been great to see you guys become part of that culture of giving right now, in particular.
Yeah, well, I think it's baked into who we are. Part of our commitment, again, is to community, where for every 2 meals clients order through our platform, we provide a meal to help fight hunger. And so over the life of the business, last 3 years, we provided close to 500,000 meals. We're also blessed to have a lot of celebrity investors. Jay-Z is a substantial investor, Usher, Kevin Hart, some great names from the food space. And so when COVID hit, we really, reached out to many of them and said, "Hey, would you like to give? Let's work together." And that's where, Kevin Hart and Chef Tom Colicchio from Top Chef and Chef Ming Tsai and others really stepped up and helped to build, awareness around it. We formed a partnership with a local nonprofit to help enable contributions to be tax deductible, with a focus on feeding a lot of our frontline heroes, doctors, nurses, first responders. And it's really taken off. We've raised, I think, $135,000 now from donations to help, feed those that are on the front lines. And so it's been pretty incredible, and very thankful. A lot of our celebrity supporters, stepped up and helped, kind of create that wave of interest.
So you talked a little bit before about the board, the conversations with the board at the start of the crisis. You've got some great advisors. You've got some of the, some great investors, some celebrity investors, lots of different personalities, lots of different lenses into the business and the marketplace. How do you go about kind of pooling all of that information together and using it as the CEO and as the broader management team to make decisions? Yeah.
Well, I think it's it's being open to input and advice. It's soliciting it. We don't pretend to believe we have all the answers, and so it really is about leveraging those around you. And it's those in board and investor and advisor roles, but it's also our team. Another business that we've launched is something we call virtual chef experience. And so our events team, really came up with the idea around, let's go virtual. Let's put on chef experiences that our clients can use to help fight, the mental stress, and toll that COVID's taking on their employees, can help, foster culture and teamwork in a world where everybody's, operating, separate from each other. And that business is really taking off, incredibly quickly as well. So it's about, I think, being open and to new ideas, and then just trying to figure out which are the best ones, and then really focus in on executing the best ones.
So are there small things that you do as a leader that you think have a big impact, or you hope have a big impact?
So as I mentioned, we try to be very intentional around culture. I'm not sure if this is a small thing, but we early on defined our core values. We have 9 core values that don't just aren't just on a poster on a wall, but it's something we very much live by. And it's a mutual commitment. It's a commitment around this is how this is what we as a company believe is important, and this is how you can expect us to operate. And also, when we bring on new people to the team, it's an expectation of, this is the kind of environment you can expect and what we're looking for from you. And what I believe is it just helps make it clearer and easier for everybody to be just rowing in the same direction. Everybody just know, kind of this is what's important here, and this is how we're going to operate. And if it's not a right fit, that's fine. It just means, Hungry's not the right place. So we do lots of little things to kind of reinforce those values and culture. We have a Always Hungry award that we give out to team members who really exemplify one or more of our core values, and kind of use that to really, highlight. We do lots of celebrating of wins and successes as well.
So by being so transparent during the hiring process in terms of what the culture is at Hungry, does that help you weed out folks that might not be a fit?
Yeah, definitely. I will commonly talk with folks about our core values and say, look, look at these. If this isn't you, that's okay, no judgment, but this is not the right place for you. You will not, survive here. We actually have, every new employee signs, reads and then signs kind of our core value statement, which again, it's not just what we're expecting from them, but it's here's what you can expect from us. And if you ever find the company is not living true to any one of these 9 core values, it's your job to call it out and raise it to leadership, because we have to fix it. And that's happened too. Sometimes you kind of get a little off track, and so it just keeps all of us on the same page. And so far, I think it's been incredibly powerful. It's helped keep the team, I think, very motivated. It helps keep us all working together in a really powerful way.
So what inspires you, Jeff Grass, the serial entrepreneur, CEO of Hungry? What keeps you going?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I love starting and building new businesses. I love the challenge of that. I also get really inspired by businesses that can leave our world a better place in the process, or help make our world a better place in the process. So our commitment to giving back around fighting hunger. We also have a big commitment to environmental sustainability. Work hard on fostering an environment where our team is growing and developing. We have a strong philosophy around promoting from within. So lots and lots of examples of people who came in very junior roles who are now in leadership roles in relatively short order. So things like that get me excited. It's about building great teams and trying to accomplish impossible goals.
Well, Jeff, it's been such a pleasure having you on Everybody Pulls the Tarp. Congratulations on all the success, the amazing pivot of the business here in the COVID era, which it certainly doesn't appear like the social distancing is going away anytime soon. So the Hungry at Home will be keeping us full for a long time here. Well, best of luck in the future, Jeff. Thank you for joining Everybody Pulls the Tarp.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.